All right, here we are, everyone. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Hi, we're going to talk about an important subject today. We're going to talk about energy, and we're going to actually weave a lot of different themes together, and it's all going to come together in a way that people are going to find very compelling. So you don't want to go anywhere. If you're watching us now, you want to listen to the whole thing from beginning to end. And what I'd like to do first is I'd like to start out with a question. I'm going to question my staff. I like doing this. I like keeping you guys on your toes. Sometimes I ask you, like, what song is playing and who wrote it, things like that. But I always want you thinking. So here's the question of the morning. How many people have had problems with their morning beverages? Okay. So
I almost spit it all on you. I have a picture.
yeah, so I spilled my tea, by the way, but that was minor, apparently. Jackie, what was your issue this morning?
So I like the cold brew cans from Kirkland, and you just literally pop over the top, and there's nothing in it. You pour it over ice, and I wasn't paying attention, and I poured a can of beer over my cinnamon and my stevia this morning, and I'm like, oh my god, what's wrong with my coffee? It's yellow. I didn't realize.
Oh, you didn't taste it though.
I know. I was like, oh my god, and I smelled it, and I'm like, oh my god, this is.
How long did it take you to figure this out exactly? That's what I'm curious about.
Longer than I care to admit. I took a picture, like, what an idiot I am. How did I do that?
Well, it's a morning thing, right? We all do nutty
It
things.
should be a Monday morning thing, but it's Tuesday, so I have no excuse.
Right. You have no excuse. Here's my second question this morning, and this kind of will start off our topic. Actually, I'll ask the question, then we'll get into our testimonials, our recipe for the week, and then we'll follow up on that question, okay?
Okay.
How much is everyone paying for gas?
It cost me, yesterday I had to fill up again, $71.96.
$71 to fill up your car. It was how much for the gallon? How much for the gallon?
I think I saw $5.49. I think it
What? No, $4.49, please.
No, I know it was over $5.
Wow.
Where did you stop for over $5?
I went
Keep
by
driving.
No, I know. I was by Swim. I had no choice.
Okay. Jackie went to the United Arab Emirates for gas. She was in Dubai.
Listen, when
I waited 35 minutes at Costco's on Friday because it was specifically $3.49 on Friday.
I feel like it's running about $4.50 generally. Is that everyone's experience?
Yeah, I think I paid $4.20 yesterday.
$4.20. Okay, so gas is very expensive. You hear a lot of talk about energy independence as a result of that. So we're going to talk about energy independence today. How about that? But not on a macro.
Going up 50 cents.
Listen, we're not talking about on a macro geopolitical level. We're going to be talking about it more on an individual level.
No,
okay?
I'm just telling you that I know somebody owns a gas station. It's going up 50 cents in the next 2 weeks.
I understand.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you that we're not going to be discussing the geopolitics of it. We're talking about individual energy.
Trish, Thea and Trish, get ready. Ride your bikes to work. You're going to get super skinny that way.
Meanwhile,
you have to ride bikes to work. Thank God I work from home.
You and bikes don't work well.
No.
All right, let's get into the inspirational and informative components of our live today. So, Jennifer, I understand you have a terrific testimonial.
I have 5 of them. And I'm going to read 4 short ones or 1 longer one. So, I think I'm going to go with the 4 short ones.
Okay.
It's a lot of impact in a short time.
Just boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. Boom,
okay,
boom.
Let's do it.
So this one is from a guy, Joe, and we rarely have our guy. Well, not that we rarely have our guys write testimonials, but for some reason I never get to read them. But this one is just very simple. It says, my health has improved and I feel so much better since starting the program. I'm down 40 pounds and I look forward to the rest of my journey. So Joe lost 40 pounds, but he looks like he lost about 65 or 70. Like the impact on his body is amazing. And he fought tooth and nail. He didn't want to come in. And now we can't stop him, which is amazing. Like, let's go. This one is from Domenica. And she said, thank you, everyone. You guys are the best. I feel great and look forward to maintaining. So she's reached her goals.
Yes.
now going into a maintenance.
She's very lean. You know, every time she's in, I ask her if her friends dislike her, and the answer is always yes.
No,
they're very jealous of her.
like her. She's so sweet.
Oh, she's a
very
doll.
sweet woman.
She's lovely.
Yeah.
So this one is from Denise, and she did it like bullet points. So this is really easy to read. So before, tired, insomnia, clothing fit terribly. After, energy, great sleeping, weight loss has me feeling and looking better in my clothes.
Oh.
And the next one is from Sandra. So we put her into an early next phase of the program because she was having some struggles. So she didn't lose as much as we would have liked, but she still did really well. So she said she lost 15 pounds and feels great. My clothes fit better, and I love when I pass a mirror as the change is noticeable. It's a boost to my self-esteem.
Isn't our program funny when a person loses only 15 pounds in 40 days?
Yeah, only. But
Yeah.
you know what? It's a fat burning program. So that 15 pounds will look more like 20 to 25.
Oh, I've seen people lose 26 pounds of fat and yet only 16 pounds of actual weight. And for those who are confused about that,
yeah,
it's because they got hydrated and they were desperately dehydrated.
That happened to me.
That happened to you also, Jack, huh?
That's happened to me, and I was one of those that I thought that I was drinking. If I was drinking a gallon of water a day, that was the right thing to do. So I was drinking too much.
Right.
Right. Yeah, we had someone in yesterday who lost 3 pounds in 40 days.
How much?
3. But she lost 10 pounds of body fat. She had some surgery in between. She had some complications, but the fact that she lost 10 pounds of body fat is crazy.
Oh, it's a huge win.
It's huge.
People don't still to this day don't understand what 10 pounds of body fat looks like.
Yeah,
it is. It's like holding a newborn.
It's
It's
thigh.
Hey, you know, why don't we talk about hydration on an upcoming live? But let's continue now with our testimonials.
So those were all of them.
Oh, that was it. Oh, that was quick. That was really quick.
I told you they were quick.
I like it. This is what happens when men write testimonials.
Well, only one was a man.
Only one was a man. Okay, good.
Let's go. And then I love that stressed energy.
Energy is a good thing. We'll get into that in a bit, but not before we get a very energetic recipe from Jackie, who, by the way, finally brought in one of her concoctions to us. It was delicious. It was, what was it? The smashed.
Oh, the Brussels sprouts.
The smashed Brussels sprouts. That's what it was. Yes,
it was
really
last
good.
week's recipe. It was so good, and I made like a
sriracha.
Which I'm sorry, guys, my mistake. We realized there was sugar in it after, and I was also, eating it. So, but you can swap it for hot sauce, and it's still just as good. I've done it.
Right. So when we're talking about making with the cottage cheese, and when you blend up cottage cheese, it takes on the flavor of whatever you're using. So that could be made into a mousse. That could be made into a dipping sauce. We do that on the program. And so you use sriracha for it, which was delicious, but a little too much sugar. So you could use any hot sauce, Frank's hot sauce, Texas Pete's, Cholula's, whatever turns you on.
I like Cholula's because they have a variety of flavors, but I know especially I also like the mustiness of the hot sauce. Frank's hot sauce to me is a little bitter, so I feel like it's not as universal, but whatever works. Does it do exactly the same thing? Onion powder, garlic powder, load it up to taste, and mix it up.
Well, I know you have a preference for Argentinian hot sauces.
That's next week. I'm gonna look up a hot sauce recipe next week.
All right, what is today's recipe? What are we making?
So it's good. Actually, basil pesto. So pesto is one of my absolute favorite sauces. I make it. I keep it frozen. I love pine nuts. Obviously, we can't have pine nuts. We can't have oil, and we can't have cheese. So one thing, and because we're dippers in this house, I want a sauce. I want something. So the other day, I actually found this recipe and I kind of like upped it a notch. The roasted garlic that I told you guys about a couple of weeks ago, I keep in my fridge. So I took a handful of those cloves, threw them in the blender, 2 bunches of clean basil leaves, 1 whole lemon, the juice of just 1 whole lemon. And I literally just a little bit of garlic, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of our pink salt, and blend it. And you'll add 2 tablespoons of water just for the consistency. It came out so good. It definitely has a tart flavor. So what I actually did with the leftover, instead of using it as just a sauce or a dip or putting it on top cold, I marinated our chicken with it and added red pepper last night. It came out so good. It was the easiest thing. It could sit in the fridge because it's soaking, of course, in lemon, and it was delicious.
And we can expect that when?
Thursday.
Nice.
Bring your own spoon.
Let's make it a thing. Every Thursday we'll do something like that.
Every
Yeah,
Thursday.
except for the fact that I'm not invited.
Oh, what a shame.
Awesome. Well, do you like green?
More for the rest of us.
I'll eat pesto.
Come for pesto.
Yeah, your palate is very particular, so it's
That's
harder to
not true.
feed you.
I eat a lot.
All right, so listen, let's get into our topic. If you're joining us now, we're going to talk about energy today. Energy is such a huge topic. How do we even, put our hands around it? Because when we're talking about energy, we were talking about it on a global basis with what's happening with our gas prices, which we're all PO'd about. We can talk about, the various things that people do, like coffee in the morning, which they sometimes get confused about and put beer in their coffee cup. I spilled my matcha tea today. So it's a very wide-ranging topic. Now, there is an interesting aspect of it, which is that, Thea, you're about to take a vacation, and you're basically going, if I'm not mistaken, to kind of rejuvenate your batteries, right? To increase and change your energy. Is that right? Thea?
Yep.
Oh, you went out. My internet was spinning.
Can you hear me?
I hear you now, but I didn't hear the question you asked.
Oh, okay. So you're taking an interesting vacation that has everything to do with energy. So tell us where you're going.
I'm going to Sedona, Arizona. Sedona.
And why are you going to Sedona?
Because there's vortexes there up in the mountains, and I want to go and sit in the vortex. The vortex is a specific area that has been regulated and tested for energy, like super energy.
Really?
You absorb the energy when you sit in these vortexes. Yeah.
Got it. So in Sedona, it has been identified as one of these places that has a very specific energetic kind of vortex.
Right.
And what do you expect that to do for you? What's the advantage?
Well, it's positive energy. I mean, because it's up in the mountains and
well, we have positive energy.
Yeah, no, it's different. So it's just you can from what I hear, I've never been there, but from what I hear, you can literally feel your body shifting. You can feel the energy of the superpower good energy coming into your body, and you can actually feel the energy shifting
that's really
in your
cool.
body. Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose there are a few places like that on Earth. Besides Sedona, you have places like maybe Lourdes, Jerusalem, places that are known for healing. People come from all over with various maladies just because they're areas of concentrated energy.
Yeah, so it regenerates. It also, so the positive energy regenerates the cells too in the body too. It's healing. The mind, body, and spirit. It's very healing.
Got it. So this is one of those kind of esoteric subjects that maybe sounds a little granola. I think that if anyone could interpret it for us, it's Jen. Jen, what's going on with these areas of energy? What's meant by that? What's happening?
And your granola bar.
Dear God. So roll it back. I have to pull the thoughts out of my head from what I was thinking when I was listening to you guys.
Well, was it germane to what we're discussing?
It was. I was actually kind of hitting all these things that I've read recently about frequencies.
Okay.
And, our body resonates with a certain frequency. Everybody who speaks, you ever walk into a room and you see someone from across the room and either you connect with them or you're repelled by them. That's based on the frequency that they're emitting. And when you connect with somebody, you're kind of operating on the same frequency, the same vibrational level. And I think that what happens is there are these places of intersections of frequency in particular areas of the world that, they're, oh my goodness, there's so much to say.
Exactly. You can't start to describe.
Where do you start with all of this? So that interact very well with our body. So, you know,
Right.
there's a frequency that love is attuned to, and there's a frequency that anger is attuned to. I love looking at pictures of water that's been exposed to words. So you can see the vibrational impact on a drop of water.
Right, so let's give people a little more kind of reality on this. So there were experiments done by a Japanese doctor. I believe he
Right.
was a doctor. He was a scientist.
Yes.
I want to say his name is Masaru Emoto or something,
Well, yes.
something to that effect,
Hold
right?
on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so he did experiments on basically water crystals.
Right.
And he exposed these water crystals just to like various words.
Words. Yeah, just words.
Right?
On the inside of the glass, so it would face the inside of the glass. Hate
Right.
would face the inside of glass. Love would face the inside of the glass.
Right. And so the words themselves presumably carried a particular vibration, right? And for those of you who don't understand, and again, think this is kind of a hippy dippy topic, you know, just think of a guitar string. That's what we mean when we're talking about vibration, right? It makes this sound. It vibrates on a certain energetic level. So he exposed the water to these words and he took pictures of it.
Right.
And what you saw was that there was a more coherent kind of crystal when it was exposed, the water was exposed to things like love.
Right.
And
So,
peace.
so what happened was the water was flat when anger was there, but when they showed love, it was oxygenated with all bubbles, oxygen in the water. Yeah.
But as a result, it affected the aesthetics actually of the crystalline structure.
Yeah,
and you can see it very clearly.
More concordant. So also you mentioned guitar strings, which is interesting because music used to be tuned to 432 hertz.
And that's the number of vibrations in what, a second, a minute,
something like that.
Yeah.
But a number of years ago, probably about 80 years ago, all music got changed to a different frequency, and our bodies don't resonate with that. So our bodies react very well to 432. It's one of the healing frequencies. So if you look up healing frequencies on YouTube and you play, there are so many different ones that affect different parts of the body and mind, because those parts of the body and mind resonate with those frequencies. So, you know, we listen to music that is not tuned to 432 hertz, and it creates discord.
Right.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's think of it. Yeah, I think musical terms, they're a very good metaphor for this topic, because Jen, what you're saying is that there are certain frequencies or vibrations that are more in tune with us and are more likely. And something we have to understand is that when we're talking about resonance, instruments tend to take on the same vibration as other instruments.
Right.
If you're playing guitar in a room with other guitars, then they'll start vibrating at the same level. And that's true with humans also. And I think we've all had this experience, and I'm going to tell you one of mine. I may have told it before, but this really brings it home. I was working, obviously, as a chiropractor. I was working in a chiropractic office. I was new to the office. And I was about to be introduced to a particular patient. And I was told that her husband shot her twice. And I said, oh, my God, this poor dear. I mean, that's crazy. I couldn't even imagine it.
Did you see all of our reactions?
Well, I mean, you guys have husbands, so it's
Not once,
understandable.
but twice. And we're like,
Twice, right.
you got me at twice.
I was shocked. I couldn't even imagine. This is not something that I don't meet people every day who've been shot twice by their spouse, right? So I go and I meet her. I'm in the room for, I don't know, 20 seconds.
You wanted to shoot her.
Yeah, my thought was, that wasn't
Jennifer.
my thought wasn't, I want to shoot her. My thought was, of course.
Of course.
Oh,
I get it. She said 3 words. She was vibrating at a level that was so interconflicted and so discordant, and so like just being around her. Yes, I get it.
The tone of her voice.
It wasn't just the tone of her voice; it was the tone of her whole being. Like I've rarely been around someone like this. We all have this experience every day with various people. There are people we want to be around, right? It said that we have affinity for them, right? Affinity in science is the consideration of distance. And there are people who we are repelled by, and that has everything to do with energy, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting it now.
Okay. So we have our hippy dippy types on here. Our coaches tend to lean towards that. But what about, Trisha and Corinne? You guys are, I would say, not as hippy dippy. What comes to mind? And I'm sorry if you feel like I'm not trying to judge you. But what comes to mind for you guys when you think about this topic?
I think it's very interesting, and I think that there's a lot of power to be said in it, and that you don't always have to have a closed mind and think that. I mean, like, one thing I've learned through working with everyone is that a holistic way can be a better way. It doesn't necessarily mean like bad, shall you say, like the karma that people have always had, like, that holistic medicine doesn't work, but it really does work. And there's a lot of really good positive to it. So to me, I really find this stuff interesting, and it makes me want to kind of be more in tune to myself.
Yeah, this seems to be more in the realm of what we would think of as holism or alternative. Oddly enough, this has everything to do with physics,
Right.
which is very conventional.
Right.
How about you, Trisha? So this stuff, does this all seem real to you? Does it seem like some kind of far out there stuff?
Well, I've always kind of worked in public setting. I was a hairdresser for 20 years. So people sit in my chair and I could feel, their type of, whether I'm drawn to them or they just, very standoffish. So I kind of get it. Like, hearing it in this way, it makes sense to me then. Why you're drawn to certain people and why, you kind of, taken aback by other people,
Were you ever tempted to slice anyone's ear?
No.
Intentionally?
I maybe cut off a couple of extra inches, but I don't know.
Got it. Hey, Jackie, how about you? So there's a rumor that you're from Brooklyn. People from Brooklyn tend to be cynical. Is this the kind of thing, people who, if we would have this conversation in front of them and they would be like, what are you talking about?
Very true. I don't think I fall in that category. I think I'm definitely drawn to positive energy. I think.
Wait, I want to stop for a minute. We're getting like a staticky thing here.
It is.
Where's this coming from?
I don't know. Everywhere.
Okay. All right.
I don't hear it at all.
It's echoing.
Yeah,
I think you're
Who's echoing? Jackie, stop echoing.
I can't help it. Hold on, wait. I'm gonna leave and come back in.
Wait, you were in the middle of a sentence. Okay. So on a practical level, how do we improve our vibrational frequencies? I think we can all kind of see that there are people who vibrate at a frequency that will attract good things to them. They'll attract people, friendship, love, maybe material goods.
So I always say,
who vibrate. Hold on. There are other people who vibrate at a very low level that's repulsive to other people and repulsive, presumably, to material possessions and just life in general. So on a practical level, how do we then raise our vibrational frequency, our energy? Corinne, let Corinne go, because she
my feeling is you have to have positive thoughts in order for positive things to happen to you.
Okay.
So like one of the examples, like I said to Jen, like Jen was saying on a COVID level, she's like, oh, I never had COVID. And I'm like, don't say that, because now you're going to get COVID. I'm like, you can't wish negative things on yourself, because in my mind, if you think positively, you think that you can do it, then you're going to have positive vibrations. As soon as you have a negative tone, it's going to be negative outcome.
Got it. Yeah, like the Beach Boys song, Good Vibrations.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But Jen, I do want to ask you about that, because while that makes intuitive sense, right? Positive thoughts bring about positive vibrations. If a person is not in a positive place and they try to force themselves to have positive thoughts, can that create internal conflict, discord, and bad energy?
Well, if it's genuine, then no, because you create what you want to create.
Right.
So if you're in a bad mood, the worst thing to do is to focus on the negative. The best thing to do is to get outside and get out of your own head and start focusing on forward on things that are good and looking back on things that are good. not to perseverate in where your mindset is. So, and a lot of it has to do with agreement, whether we agree something is going to happen or not. Like, we are the architects of our lives. And when we agree we're going to have a beautiful life, beautiful things happen. Like that energy that we create. And this does sound a little woo-woo, but when you explain it in terms of physics and vibration, it makes perfect sense. You know, what you put out, you get back in.
Yes.
So to comment on what Corinne said, my thing was not, oh, I've been over. My thing is I'm not getting it because I disagree with it.
Right.
So, and my point with that is, if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't. I don't really care one way or the other. So because I don't have like a have to, must have, or must not have on it, it is what it is. So,
I want to get back into this topic of agreement. I think that there's a lot of juice there. But first, Jackie, you were mid-sentence, and then you try to correct something. It turns out I don't think it was coming from you.
It wasn't. I thought it was. So sorry. About
Okay,
that.
maybe it's coming from me.
Yeah, it's probably, it's probably your fault.
It's me. It's not you. It's me.
It's not you.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, I am from Brooklyn. A lot of people, it depends. So people that I'm surrounded by, my family, friends, would probably all be in agreement with this topic. I mean, I feel like I surround myself with positive people in general. I definitely put a wall up in the sense that I do have people around me that are not on the same wavelength. And that's okay. They're still in my circle. They're still my friends. They're my family. But I don't let that spill over into my actions. I feel like, to me, the glass is always half full. There's good and bad in everything. So I feel like I really I sift through a lot of those emotions that I surround myself with. And I think that gives me the platform to stay positive. I feel like if I sit in it too long, it's going to affect you. It's like quicksand, right? So it's going to keep pulling at you. So you can be surrounded by it. You have to really control the life that you want, so that you plummet forward with your actions. You could take those as learning lessons. You could take those as blocks. But if you're holding them on your shoulders, you're going to be weighed down. And I know you make fun of me, Rosie. What'd you say, Rosie Perez and Confucius? What was that?
You are a cross between Rosie Perez and Confucius. Absolutely.
Pretty close.
With a little Bugs Bunny mixed in.
A little Bugs Bunny. But I feel like life is, if anything, I've always known this, but especially last year's, life is way too short to live on the what ifs and what someone else is feeling. So if you are so overly concerned in what someone else is doing and how it's going to affect you, you're not living your life, your plan. So you have to really take control over your focus. Your focus, it's going to control your actions. It's going to plummet you forward or back.
Got it.
So it's really in your hands.
I want to talk about, thank you. I want to talk about this topic of agreement. I think there's a lot there. First, though, let's have everyone kind of lower their speakers a little bit. I think that's what's going on with the echo. Okay, so if you lower it, we'll probably hear less of it. Okay. All right, good. Now, regarding this topic of agreement, if we talk about discord, there's a literal definition of discord that words have power, and lack of agreement, an AKA for that is discord. So when we're talking about energy, when we're talking about frequency, when we're talking about movement, ideally there's agreement so things are moving in the same direction. When there's lack of agreement, then we have clashing, and that brings about what we call this discord. We can feel that discord sometimes in our body, sometimes in our chest, in our stomach. I mean, this is what was going on with that lady who everyone apparently wanted to shoot.
Oh, I can name 3 things that someone does and it just completely turns me off.
Well, there are particular turnoffs, right? But
Oh,
I guess I'm talking about the larger subject of agreement. So ultimately, we're better off agreeing. Now, that doesn't mean with sacrificing our own integrity,
no.
right? If someone insults you, says something bad, says something you absolutely don't agree with, you don't have to turn around and say, I agree. But what we should always be doing, and Jen, tell me if you believe I'm correct about this, is finding points of agreement to create accord as opposed to discord, to create harmony as opposed to disharmony.
So that's a complicated topic.
Yes, it is. Are you saying we should segue and do it next week?
So you're right.
I almost jumped in Jen's head.
And on the other hand, no, it's not that cut and dry, and it's not that simple.
It's a very general thing, right? I'm talking about, I'm not talking about.
Generally, yes, but this could be a dangerous topic
Right.
because we don't want to give people the impression, there are certain levels of vibrational frequency and energy that, yes, you should always find points of agreement, but there are certain people and certain energy levels that there should never be agreement with. And actually the handling or the topic or the plan to handle somebody like that is very different than the plan to handle.
Right. Those people you just have to run away from, right? If you're in a
Run
car
away.
with a serial killer.
Like metaphorically,
Yeah.
like, not literally, but they have to be kneecapped. There are certain
They have
people,
to be kneecapped or you have to
Yeah.
get away from them. Agreed. I'm
Yeah.
talking about more of your run-of-the-mill interactions on a day-to-day basis where
Yes.
you're dealing with people of basically good intent.
yes, people of good intent. Yes, you can always find points of agreement. So there's always, when you start we do this a lot in the office. When you start talking to somebody, I like to look for points of commonality. So I'm always asking questions and I'm always finding, oh, you're from wherever. Do you know so-and-so? Have you ever, oh my goodness, have you ever been to blah, blah. So there's always looking for connection. And I think when you start to build that, that's how you build agreement.
Jen, honestly, I just think you're wrong.
Okay, good. I totally understand.
I knew it was coming. I was waiting for him to shoot you down.
No, it wasn't a shout down. It was an example. I was giving an example.
I know.
So, tell me more about that. Tell me more about how you think I'm wrong.
I think,
Got it, yeah.
to touch on that though, because I was like in Jen's head, like I was like,
I could see you nodding.
I was dying. Like, this, like, I want to jump out of my seat with some of these things because I agree. Not every individual, no matter what their level is on that scale, you don't always have to find, like you're saying, commonality either. That agree to disagree is completely healthy and normal without changing who you are. Because I feel like if it's a one-sided force to find that commonality, you're changing who you are, your stance, right? So it's very hard to always be the bigger person or find that common ground. But it's okay to let things not always be in agreement. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
But-
you kind of have to do that without making the other person wrong.
Yes.
Right.
Because when you're looking to find a point where you're making somebody else wrong, you're putting a divide there. And again, with the caveat that there are certain types of people, but it takes a lot to be able to assess that.
You got to be clear.
Part of it you can. Part of it, you meet someone and, Jackie probably doesn't not get along with anybody. Does that?
Well,
I get along with everybody.
So
well,
I've seen her once where she probably could have shot somebody. And I've only seen it happen once, and it's a particular energy level that just some beast took over Jackie.
Mm-hmm.
It was very funny to see.
So there's Jackal and there's Hyde,
Yeah, it was.
basically. But I want to give an example though
But wait,
of what we're talking about.
I was I was the caged tiger. They were poking me.
Yeah.
Just so we know, so we're clear. It wasn't
Actually,
just
twice then. Actually, twice. So I can say twice then. So once in person, I saw it happen.
I'm
So
sure
anyway,
we can make
twice.
it happen a third time just for sport.
Agreed.
Listen, all you have to do is have one person in the room with her, and it will happen instantaneously.
Okay. So I do want to meet that person and possibly put them on payroll. But listen,
Oh,
let me give
you'll
a
poke
practical
the bear
example.
in every way
Hold
possible.
on. I don't want this to be too theoretical for people. We're trying to give tools. We're trying to discuss things that should be usable. So I want to give just a quick example before we end off. I think that, like I said, there's a lot to this topic. We need to take it up again.
Absolutely.
But here's an example. Let's say, obviously, I'm a big Yankee fan. Oh, and by the way, you know all my examples are sports examples. So
You lost me. You're done.
I'm a big Yankee fan, right? If I meet a Red Sox fan, I can go to a place where it's like the Red Sox. What are you, an idiot? What a bunch of losers. How could you root for that team? I mean, I could easily go there. I sort of have gone there in the past.
Sorry.
But really, the better place to go is, isn't baseball a beautiful game? Like, don't we miss baseball? It's fantastic. And just so you know, I am growing. I happen to be reading a book right now about the Red Sox.
Are you trying to get right with the Lord? That's why.
Trying
Trying to find your way. You
Actually, my
insulted
future
somebody.
brother-in-law. Yeah. No, it's not about that. No, it's a nice book. We don't have to discuss it here. My sense is that not many people will be interested, but but that's really the more correct way to do things, and not necessarily for that other person, for yourself, to create greater relationships. I mean, we all know people who are, for lack of a better term, they're trolls. They're purposely trying to upset other people. They're trying to get a reaction. It's the only way that they know how to relate and engage.
That's
And
evil.
ultimately, we don't want to be those people, even though it's fun sometimes.
And
Yeah.
if I could just so part of that, especially in like a health aspect, right? Your
Yeah.
health journey, getting healthy, doing something for the greater good of yourself. A lot of people, even those closest to you, whether they be your family, your friends, coworkers, whomever it may be, people that you haven't seen in a long time, social media plays a big role in this. Everything is for you know the term like taking everything for face value.
Mhm.
People are so quick to comment and judge on the things that they don't know. And this is social media, this is conversations, this is me getting healthy, this is me losing weight. And it's like, oh, why? You look fine. Oh, why are you losing weight? I don't understand. Is something wrong? They
Right.
always go to a negative place. They never assume that you're doing something for the good of yourself because you want more and better. And just because you're, let's say, healthy on this level of what you think health is, does not mean there's ever no room for improvement. And
Right.
you have to surround yourself with people that either support you or you know how to take those negative comments, that negative energy, and turn it into fuel to do better.
Right.
So,
Well, this is why we all like people who are humble
mhm.
and who are agreeable, because they don't create that discord,
Agreed.
because they understand the importance of agreement and the importance of acknowledging others or not going to a petty or negative place. But listen, let's end off there. We got a funny comment from Elizabeth. Elizabeth asked if we're calling her a troll.
No, never.
Elizabeth, we're not calling you out. No, this is not you. We like when you're in the office. All right. But that's going to be it for this week. Listen, Thea, have a terrific, terrific trip.
Have a great time.
And have
Yeah.
a happy birthday.
Bring back some of that energy.
I will.
Bring back the good energy. Absolutely. Okay,
Good
so that's going to be it. And we'll see everyone next week.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.